Switching gears, but staying at the Women's World Cup, there's a lot of reports out there that Vlatko Andonovski has stepped down as the US Women's National Team coach, kind of as expected, right, lads? And now the US are already kind of switching their focus towards who next. I said it a few weeks ago. I said the best thing that could happen for the USA is that England win the World Cup and then they get a crack at Serena Vegman. So just saying it, there's a lot of reports as well linking that that could be the next step for her. But already the English FA has come out and said, we will 100% reject any offers for her. We love what she's doing. And they even mentioned as well, potentially, she could take over on the men's side of thing for England if Gareth Southgate was to move on in the next couple of years. So a lot to unpack there, Nick. But I think when we talk about Vlatko, it's the obvious decision from his point of view. But Serena Vegman would be an excellent choice for the US for the successor, especially building up ahead of the next World Cup and given her a record with the Netherlands and now the English team. I don't know who else is better out there for the US to try and hire.
Yeah, it's interesting. Back in the day for soccer in the US, whether men's or women, we would talk about how the big explosive arguments that were being had were storms in a teacup worldwide, or teapot. Is that how you say it? Again, I'm trying to co-opt some terms here. Now those are just storms. And I think for Vlatko, the best thing, and I like that this is at least phrased as him stepping down, if not him stepping down. I'd love to see how he does, whether he would go to, he'll be wanted, by the way. He'll be wanted almost everywhere. And for the idea of him going somewhere else, and I'll root for him. I would like to see him have some success. But when you look at the lineage of U.S. coaches, Jill Ellis, Pia, this is a job that is extremely attractive. I frankly think most times it should be held by a woman. And you just saw at this World Cup how many good managers there are out there. And I think for the respect the game has earned, to keep acting like we still own it would be a little silly.
Yeah, 100%. Andy, what are your thoughts on this? And I guess, again, this is the next logical step for the US, but from England's point of view, the last thing they want to do is let Serena Vegman leave, no matter what happens on Sunday in the World Cup final against Spain.
Yeah, the U.S. program needs a builder, somebody that's going to kind of not tear it down, but tear away a lot of stuff that's there. And I'm looking at this roster here from the World Cup. Obviously, there was a lot of veterans on this team, but there was a lot of very young players. And we've talked a little bit about how there was kind of that missing generation in the middle of the two, and that came from the Olympic failures of last time around, Olympic failures of a while ago as well. It's not easy anymore for the U.S. team. And so it's going to have to be somebody that has real principles and ideas, I think, because Vlatko came in, and I think the idea was, well, all of the players really like him, and they're going to play for him, and they're going to enjoy playing for him, and that will be enough to win. That's not enough to win anymore. And it was very clear pretty much from the start of this tournament that that was not going to be the case. And I think a lot of people had questions about some of his decisions and his tactics leading up to the tournament. And so it needs to be somebody that has a long-term project in mind and wants to commit to the job. Now, we don't know whether Vegman wants to remain in England, would be interested in the men's team job, whether she would be interested in the U.S. job, but it needs to be somebody who's going to be willing to commit for at least one full cycle, but if not, with a mind towards maybe a second as well.
Yeah, I think it has to be her, to be perfectly honest. I mean, she is the perfect person to take this role. When I see what she's done with England, I think the ruthlessness in the decision-making, and quite frankly, she's left out some big players for England and moved on very quickly from some legendary players. And I think that's kind of what the US needs now. Yes. And if you hear all the noises around the England camp, before there were a lot of great players with so many caps who were expected to kind of almost be the coach's voice at times and were looked up to almost talk about big decisions. But she's taken that all away from them, and she has said, I'm the boss, this is what we're going to do, and just let the players focus on playing. And I think she would be the perfect fit for the US.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.